find yourself thinking about food all the time, even when you're not eating, when you're done eating, you're still thinking about food and it's like interfering with your life. In this video, I'm going to be covering a few reasons why that you can't stop thinking about food, that it's on your mind all the time. And hopefully this can help enlighten you, so to speak, about why this is happening and what's going on underneath your skin. So I'm Jared, and if you like this video, be sure to like. You can also comment down below with any remaining questions you have. I'd love to hear from you and what's on your mind as you hear these reasons and if they make sense to you. Okay, so let's just dive in with reason number one. You're not eating enough. If you're not eating enough, you're going to be thinking about food. There's many reasons for people not eating enough food, dieting, just restrictive eating patterns. I think the most common example is when you're trying to be good, you're not really even thinking about a diet, but you're really afraid about doing something wrong. I know this, you know, can food can be this very good or bad thing, and you are really trying hard to be good. You're trying to do this good thing. This is called restrictive food rules. I know the idea of a restrictive food rule, might sound like it doesn't really fit you, but if you are thinking of food as in terms of good or bad, like, hey, let me stick to the good foods and let me avoid the bad foods. This is a black and white perspective. It's dualistic. And whenever you have duality, you end up being cut off from yourself a little bit. And whatever you're cut off from, you can't stop thinking about it. You know, it's it's a mystery. It's taboo. It's forbidden. The bad food, you're trying to be good. And so that bad food just becomes even more appealing. So I hinted at this. That was the first reason, food rules. I mentioned this briefly, but you're not eating enough. So these restrictive food rules, when you're trying to be good, usually you're under eating actually. When you're trying to be good and when you're really trying to lose weight and all this stuff, it's usually people are under eating. They're not eating enough. They're not eating enough protein. They're a little bit afraid of getting some fats in there. They're a little bit hungry all the time. And when you're hungry and you have this chronic state of hunger, you think about food even when you're not eating. And then what happens too, when you become depleted, then you binge and you feel guilty and, and there's a lot of shame around that. And that shame kind of poisons you a little bit. And it makes you think about food even when you're not eating. Like, oh, last time I binged on that, I better avoid that, right? So I hope you see that this black and white perception of food being good or bad can lead you to restrictive eating and not eating enough. And then if you binge or you're hungry, that can make you just think about food all the time too. It definitely comes up a lot with people where they're hyper focused on weight loss. This is reason number 3. And I hope you see that all these reasons, they go together. It's sort of why binging can be so complex. It's really tough because, I'm not saying that you shouldn't lose weight or that being overweight is a good thing or anything like that, but the means have to equal the end. So if you want to lose weight, right, then the means, the way you lose weight, has to equal the end. Basically, you have to go about, if you want to be healthy and have vitality and be, have energy and be fit and everything, the means have to equal that. So if you're depleting yourself, if you're dieting, if you're thinking all this crap in your head, those means are negative. They are depleting you. They are restricting you. They are fatiguing you. And yes, you might lose weight temporarily, but we all know the weight comes back, right? So it's really important that if you're focusing on weight loss, that you actually kind of put weight loss in the back burner and you really focus on taking care of yourself and nourishing your body and going about weight loss in a way that essentially feels good or is in alignment with an energetic perspective. So the third reason is that you're hyper focused on weight loss And usually that hyper focus makes the means restrictive, depleting, etc. And why would you be hyper focused on weight loss? Let's get into the next reason. Reason number 4, body image. I don't even want to get started on body image. It's such a complex topic, but we all know that there's images out there that are unattainable, and that even though we logically know these images are unattainable and we shouldn't really model ourselves to try to be like the skinny buff people or whatever, um, the emotional mind sees these people on magazines and sees them have high social status and says, hey, if I can look that way, then I'll be loved and I'll be accepted and I'll be, and so this body image can really be the one of the driving factors. So the unattainable body image drives this hyper focus on weight loss, which drives the good and bad food rules, which drives the under eating. And so these factors all get linked. And then the final reason is that um, when you're depleted and when you're not meeting your emotional needs and you're restricting and you're focused, usually you're stressed and you know oftentimes people lose friends or social connections or um, basically their emotional needs, autonomy, safety, control, rest, these get ignored. And food can kind of, and boredom is also another one. Food can kind of sneak in there and help you meet those needs. Because when you're hyper focused, when the body image thoughts, and when you hate your body, you're hyper focused on weight loss. You're usually not focused on your emotional needs. Maybe, and so the food can help you temporarily meet those emotional needs. And these all go together and help explain the phenomenon we're talking about today. So be sure to leave a comment if you see how these all go together. Love to hear from you, or if you have any questions. That's it. Drop a like if you enjoy the video. Thanks for tuning in. Namaste.